Question 671. Which type of proxy server speeds up service requests by fetching content stored from a previous request? A. Hostile proxy. B. Caching proxy server. C. Content filtering web proxy. D. Anonymous proxy server. Correct answer. B. Caching proxy server. A caching proxy server accelerates service requests by storing previously accessed content and delivering it for subsequent requests. This decreases the time needed to access frequently requested data, as it eliminates the need to retrieve the same information from the source server. It improves performance by lowering latency and reducing network traffic. Question 672. Steve is thinking about deploying a cloud access security broker. What type of tool is he looking for? A. A system that applies discretionary access control on cloud infrastructure. B. A system that applies mandatory access control on cloud infrastructure. C. A tool that sits between cloud users and applications to monitor activity and enforce policies. D. A tool that sits between cloud application providers and customers to enforce web application security policies. Correct answer. C. A tool that sits between cloud users and applications to monitor activity and enforce policies. A cloud access security broker is a tool positioned between cloud service users and cloud applications, assisting organizations in monitoring and enforcing security policies. It offers visibility into cloud service usage, helps identify and address security risks, and ensures compliance by enforcing policies such as access control, encryption, and data loss prevention. Question 673. John wants to assess the network utilization of his network, specifically the ratio of current network traffic to the maximum capacity a port can handle. Which of the following tools should he use? A. Application log. B. Task manager. C. Security log. D. Performance baseline. Correct answer. D. Performance baseline. The performance baseline is a benchmark that helps measure network utilization by comparing current traffic with the maximum capacity a port can handle. It provides insights into factors such as bandwidth usage, response time, and system capacity, allowing you to monitor network performance over time and determine if the system is underperforming or experiencing heavy load. Question 674. Annie is concerned about ensuring fault tolerance for her database server. She wants to ensure that if a single drive fails, recovery is possible. Which RAID level would provide this, along with distributed parity bits? A. RAID 0. B. RAID 1. C. RAID 3. D. RAID 5. Correct answer. RAID 5. RAID 5 ensures fault tolerance by spreading parity data across multiple drives, enabling the system to recover from a single drive failure. The parity is distributed across all the drives in the array, so if one drive fails, the data can be reconstructed using the parity information. Question 675. David wants to install a proxy server that can reduce the organization's upstream bandwidth usage, reduce cost, and improve the network performance. Which of these could serve his purpose? A. Hostile proxy. B. Content filtering proxy. Web proxy. D. Caching proxy. Correct answer. D. Caching proxy. A caching proxy is ideal for Arthur's requirements because it stores local copies of frequently accessed resources, like web pages. This minimizes the need to repeatedly fetch the same data from external servers, reducing bandwidth consumption and enhancing network performance. Additionally, it helps lower costs related to external data access. Question 676. How does serverless architecture help mitigate the risk of unauthorized access? A. By allowing full access to all resources for every function. B. By providing centralized security management for the entire infrastructure. C. By using least privilege principles, granting each function only the necessary permissions. D. By disabling security for certain functions. Correct answer? C. By using least privilege principles, granting each function only the necessary permissions. In a serverless architecture, the least privilege principle is applied by granting each function the minimum set of permissions required to perform its task. This reduces the risk of unauthorized access or misuse of resources, as each function is isolated with only the necessary permissions, ensuring that even if one function is compromised, the attacker has limited access to other resources or services within the system. Question 477. As part of a security compliance assessment, an auditor performs automated vulnerability scans. In addition, which of the following should the auditor do to complete the assessment? A. User behavior analysis. B. Packet captures. C. Configuration reviews. D. Log analysis. Correct answer, C. Configuration reviews. Configuration reviews involve examining the settings and configurations of systems, applications, and network devices to ensure they adhere to security best practices and compliance requirements. This step helps identify misconfigurations or weak settings that automated scans might miss, providing a more comprehensive assessment of the security posture. Question 678. Which algorithm allows two systems to securely exchange a symmetric key without requiring a prior relationship? A. The Erica algorithm. B. Cipher-based algorithm. C. Diffie-Hellman algorithm. D. The Middleton algorithm. Correct answer. C. Diffie-Hellman algorithm. Diffie-Hellman algorithm is an encryption method that allows two systems to exchange a symmetric key through a process where both parties generate their own private key and a shared public key. They then use these keys to create a shared secret, which can be used for encrypted communication. This ensures that the symmetric key exchange is secure even over an insecure channel, allowing both parties to communicate privately without the need for prior trust. Question 679. Alex wants to sneak unauthorized information in an unauthorized manner. What technique would he use to achieve this? A. Channel decipher. B. Covert channels. C. Storage convert. D. Decipher storage. Correct answer? B. Covert channels. Covert channels are methods used to transfer information in a way that bypasses normal security mechanisms. They often exploit existing communication systems or protocols to transmit data that isn't typically meant to be communicated, thus achieving unauthorized access or data exfiltration while evading detection. Question 680. Johnny is concerned about storing his personal information in a secure manner. He wants to use a media format that is difficult to copy or counterfeit. Which of the following devices should he use? A. CDR, B. Tape, C. Flashcard, D. Smart card. Correct answer. D. Smart card. A smart card is a device designed to be difficult to copy or counterfeit. It is equipped with an embedded chip that can securely store data and perform encryption functions. This makes them highly resistant to counterfeiting and duplication, providing a reliable method to protect sensitive information. Question 681. Steve is searching for an authentication protocol that would be effective in preventing session hijacking. Which option would be the most suitable for him? A. CHAP, B. PIAP, C. Radius, D. TACAX Plus. Correct answer. A. CHAP. CHAP, Challenge Handshake Authentication Protocol, is an authentication protocol that uses a three-way handshake to authenticate a user. It periodically verifies the identity of the user by sending a challenge, which the user must respond to with a value derived from a shared secret. This method ensures that the user remains authenticated throughout the session, reducing the risk of session hijacking. Question 682. Elena has set up a Hardware Security Module, HSM. Which of the following is not a common feature of an HSM? A. Boot attestation. B. Encryption and decryption for digital signatures. C. Secure management of digital keys. D. Strong authentication support. Correct answer. A. Boot attestation. HSMS, Hardware Security Modules, are specialized devices designed to provide secure management of digital keys, perform encryption and decryption operations for digital signatures, and support strong authentication. However, boot attestation, which involves verifying the integrity of the system's firmware and software during the boot process, is typically not a feature provided by HSMS. Question 683. For a cipher to be secure and resistant to being broken, two key elements must be involved in the encryption process. Which attribute is responsible for making the relationship between the key and the resulting ciphertext as complex as possible? A. Diffusion, B. Confusion, C. Boxing, D. Blocking. Correct answer? B. Confusion. Confusion refers to the concept in cryptography where the relationship between the plaintext, ciphertext, and the key is made as complex as possible. This ensures that small changes in the key or plaintext result in large, unpredictable changes in the ciphertext, making it difficult for attackers to deduce the key from the ciphertext. Question 684. Which access control model uses statements similar to natural language to define access control rules? A. DAC, B. ABAC, C. MAC, D. RBAC. Correct answer. B. ABAC. ABAC, Attribute-Based Access Control, is an access control model that uses attributes, such as user, resource, environment, etc., to define access control rules, and often employs statements that resemble natural language to describe those rules. This flexibility allows for more complex and dynamic rule definitions, where access can be granted or denied based on a combination of various attributes. Question 685. Which of the following are considered appropriate password practices for a user? DSSS, Direct Sequence Spread Spectrum, works. A. It communicates by adding data to be transmitted to a low-speed transmission. B. It communicates by breaking the data into subsignals and transmitting them. C. It communicates by hopping the transmission over a range of predefined frequencies. D. It communicates by adding data to be transmitted to a higher speed transmission. Correct answer. D. It communicates by adding data to be transmitted to a higher speed transmission. DSSS, Direct Sequence Spread Spectrum, is a modulation technique used in wireless communications, where the data signal is multiplied by a higher speed pseudo-random code, called a spreading code. This increases the bandwidth of the transmission, making it more resistant to interference and eavesdropping. The result is that the transmitted signal appears as noise to unauthorized listeners, while the receiver can correctly interpret the message by using the same spreading code. Question 686. Which of the following are considered appropriate password practices for a user? A. Placing a sticky note with the password under the keyboard. B. Sharing the password with one other person for backup access. C. Keeping the password private and not sharing it with anyone. D. Storing all passwords in an unencrypted file on the desktop. Correct answer? C. Keeping the password private and not sharing it with anyone. Keeping the password private and not sharing it with anyone is the correct practice, because it ensures that only the authorized user has access to the account or system. By keeping passwords private, users maintain control over their accounts and reduce the risk of potential security threats. Question 687. Peter and Joe are working on an Ethernet network and attempt to send data simultaneously. What could occur on the network in this situation? A. Nothing. B. Interference. C. Collision. D. Data intermixing. Correct answer. C. Collision. When two devices on an Ethernet network attempt to send data at the same time, a collision can occur. This happens because Ethernet networks, especially those using the traditional CSMA/CD protocol, rely on all devices sharing the same transmission medium. If two devices transmit data simultaneously, their signals will interfere with each other, leading to a collision. Question 688. What is the quickest method for verifying the validity of a digital certificate? A. CRL. B. Key escrow. C. OCSP. D. CSR. Correct answer. C. OCSP. OCSP, Online Certificate Status Protocol, is the quickest method for verifying the validity of a digital certificate. OCSP allows for real-time verification by querying an online service to check if a certificate has been revoked. This process provides immediate feedback on the certificate's status, making it faster than other methods like CRL. Question 689. What is a common challenge faced by IPS systems? A. False positives. B. Inability to detect external network threats. C. Limited scalability for large networks. D. Lack of ability to monitor specific network traffic. Correct answer. A. False positives. A common challenge faced by intrusion prevention systems, IPS, is the occurrence of false positives. This happens when the IPS incorrectly identifies legitimate network traffic or activities as malicious. False positives can lead to unnecessary alerts or even block legitimate operations, which can disrupt business processes. Question 690. Which of the following is a major advantage of using site-to-site IPsec VPN? A. It requires no encryption for data protection. B. It reduces the cost of network connections. C. It provides less security than traditional leased lines. D. It only supports a single connection between two devices. Correct answer? B. It reduces the cost of network connections. Unlike traditional leased lines, which can be expensive to set up and maintain, IPsec VPNs leverage the public internet to securely connect different sites. This not only helps in reducing costs, but also provides strong encryption to protect data during transmission, ensuring secure communication between the connected sites. Question 691. Where are wiring and cables typically installed? A. Overhead areas. B. Underground areas. C. Plenum areas. D. Perimeter of the building. Correct answer. C. Plenum areas. Plenum areas are sections of a building designated for air circulation, like the space between a dropped ceiling and the main ceiling structure. These areas are commonly utilized for running wiring and cables due to their easy accessibility and ability to efficiently distribute electrical and network cabling throughout the building. Question 692. Elaine has deployed computers to users in her organization that load their resources from a central server environment rather than from their own hard drives. What is this model called? A. Client as a server. B. Cloud desktops. C. Thick clients. D. Thin clients. Correct answer. D. Thin clients. Thin clients are computers that rely on a central server to perform most of their processing and storage tasks. These devices have minimal hardware and software on their own and access resources from the server, making them efficient and cost-effective for organizations that require centralized management and easy maintenance. Question 693. What function does counter mode serve in a cryptographic system? A. It allows public keys to unlock private keys. B. It reverses the encryption process. C. It turns a block cipher into a stream cipher. D. It turns a stream cipher into a block cipher. Correct answer. C. It turns a block cipher into a stream cipher. In counter mode, a block cipher is used in such a way that it turns it into a stream cipher. The basic idea is to encrypt a counter value, which is incremented for each block of plaintext, using the block cipher and then XOR the result with the plaintext to produce the ciphertext. This allows for parallel processing and is commonly used for the efficient encryption of large amounts of data. Question 694. Which of the following enables running macros in Microsoft Office applications? A. DOM. B. VBA. C. SDK. D. RAD. Correct answer? B. VBA. VBA, Visual Basic for Applications, is a programming language used in Microsoft Office applications like Excel, Word, and Access. It allows users to create and execute macros, which are sequences of instructions that automate repetitive tasks or enhance functionality within these applications. Question 695. What programming interface language is used to enable an application to access back-end database systems, making data accessible for use? A. Object linking and embedding. Database. B. ActiveX data objects. C. Java database connectivity. D. Open database connectivity. Correct answer. D. Open database connectivity. Open database. Connectivity is a programming interface that allows applications to access back-end database systems, enabling data retrieval and manipulation across different types of databases. It provides a standard method for connecting to various database management systems, ensuring compatibility and making data accessible for use by different applications. Question 696. Which term most accurately describes an unhappy employee exploiting authorized access to the company's internal resources? Question 696. Which term most accurately describes an unhappy employee exploiting authorized access to the company's internal resources? Correct answer. B. Insider threat. An insider threat refers to an individual within the organization, such as an unhappy employee, who exploits their authorized access to the company's internal resources, often with malicious intent. This type of threat can involve stealing sensitive data, sabotaging systems, or causing other harm from within the organization. Question 697. Susan has noticed that a web application used by her company does not always handle multi-threading properly, particularly when multiple threads access the same variable. This could allow an attacker who realized this vulnerability to exploit it and crash the server. What type of issue has Susan found? A. Buffer overflow. B. Improper error handling. C. Collision. D. Race conditions. Correct answer. C. Collision. Race conditions occur when multiple threads or processes access shared resources such as variables simultaneously without proper synchronization. This can lead to inconsistent states or unexpected behavior, as one thread may alter the resource while another thread is accessing it. This vulnerability can be exploited by attackers to cause unexpected behavior, data corruption, or even crash the server. Question 698. Which of the following statements is not commonly associated with nation-states or state-sponsored groups identified as threat actors? A. Motivated by political or economic interests. B. Possessing a high degree of technical expertise. C. Having significant resources or funding. D. Generally categorized as an internal threat. Correct answer. D. Generally categorized as an internal threat. Nation-states or state-sponsored groups are external threat actors that operate outside the organization they target. They are motivated by political or economic interests, possess advanced technical expertise, are often linked to advanced persistent threats, and benefit from significant resources or funding. However, they are not internal threats, as their operations are typically directed at other organizations or countries rather than originating within the targeted organization itself. Question 699. What type of attack is a birthday attack? A. A TCP/IP protocol attack. B. A cryptographic attack. C. A network denial of service attack. D. A social engineering attack. Correct answer. B. A cryptographic attack. A birthday attack is a type of cryptographic attack that exploits the mathematics behind the birthday paradox in probability theory. It targets hash functions, attempting to find two different inputs that produce the same hash value, a collision. This can undermine the security of cryptographic hash functions, leading to potential vulnerabilities in digital signatures and other cryptographic protocols. Question 700. What is the technique called that allows an attacker to authenticate to a remote server without extracting the cleartext password from a digest? A. Pass the hash. B. Replay attack. C. Brute force attack. D. Spraying attack. Correct answer. A. Pass the hash. Pass the hash is a method in which an attacker captures the hashed version of a password and uses it to authenticate to a server, bypassing the need to know or extract the actual cleartext password. This exploits weaknesses in systems that accept hashed passwords for authentication, enabling unauthorized access.
Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful for you, don't forget to like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more practice questions and tips.